welcome back to the YouTube channel of JJ Prime Reviews. And in today's review, we're going to take a look at the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Voyager class, warforcybertron, Decepticon, SKYWARP, another Seeker to add to the collection. And yes, we have seen this mold before, but it is a solid mold in my opinion, and we're still going to look at this mold and see if he is truly worth having in the collection. So let's go! But of course, as always, we need to take a quick look at the packaging here. So we have a nice image there of SKYWARP in this robot mode. Very nice, I like that. His name is SKYWARP from the Gamer Edition subline, Studio Series number 11, but the numbering system just doesn't matter anymore this year. But anyway, we got the Transformers logo on the side, Generations to Tomy, hasbro. We got Transformers warforcybertron, Transformers warforcybertron on the top. On this side of the box, we got Voyager class, and another image there of SKYWARP. Number 11 Studio Series, and on the other side of the box we got the Gamer Edition logo and another full image there of SKYWARP, which is quite nice. And we have the obligatory product shots on the back of the box. So we got the robot mode, the jet mode, and things and stuff and all that stuff. Reactivate the bridge, you know, and of course his bio, which says SKYWARP and the Seekers infiltrate the Cybertron underground to reconnect power of the Energon Bridge. Power to the Energon Bridge, not power of, power to the Energon Bridge. And of course you can read the bio in different languages if you really want to. And that is basically it for the packaging right there. And here we have SKYWARP fully transformed into his Cybertronian jet mode. Now, as usual, SKYWARP is a repaint of the Gamer Edition Starscream, and honestly, I really dig the purple and black color scheme that he has. I think it's just very striking for this character. Yeah, I love the colors, love the coloration. So we got a lot of Decepticon symbols on him, like on the back here and on his wings here. A little bit of gunmetal gray on his wings, little tail fins that can actually move up and down if you really want them to. And the nose cone can actually, you know, flip down, you know. his snoot would droop anyway. So we got a translucent orange plastic for the cockpit section here. A little bit of silver painted going on here, and yeah, it's a Starscream jet mode, but in purple and black this time. So yeah, so now we got visible arm syndrome here going on here, but I don't know, I think the jet mode looks very cool, very good in my personal opinion. Quite accurate to how it looked in the game, as you can see here. So let me just zoom out a little bit more so we can actually compare the toy to the in-game model of the jet mode. As you can see, yeah, I think it looks pretty accurate. Looks pretty accurate, you know, with the wings swept down like that and all that stuff. So yeah, me personally, in my personal opinion, I think it looks very accurate. And you got a little bit of metallic purple used over here, which is quite nice. I do quite like that. So yeah, I mean, what you see is what you get. I mean, it's a Seeker jet mode. It's a Seeker jet mode. Nothing much to say here. It's just a repaint of Starscream's jet mode. So let's talk about the accessories included, shall we? Now, SKYWARP does include 2 accessories. He includes this thing, I believe it's a thermo rocket launcher thing, and he does come with the club. And let me bring in Starscream's club for a quick comparison here. So here we have Starscream's club, and as you can see, we got the SKYWARP's handle here is painted this time around, so it's casted in purple plastic but painted with all the nice shiny silver paint. And honestly, I love that, because this one is like totally unpainted, but this one is now painted fully, and that's amazing, that's wonderful. So yeah. So I guess SKYWARP gets the paint budget for his weapon. So yeah, and we got the thermo rocket launcher thing. So yeah, which looks pretty nice. I like the mold here. So very reminiscent of how it looked in the game. So very cool. Would have been nice if this was decked out in paint, but oh well, it is what it is. Now you can store these in jet mode. There are ports right on top here, so you can just take the club and just plug this onto the port right here, then take this, you use this post to plug it onto the jet mode there. And it's not the cleanest storage, but hey, it's weapon storage if you really want weapon storage. So there you go. So let me put off let me remove these accessories and put them off to the side for now, because we are going to do some size comparisons. Here is gameredition SKYWARP compared with the Studio Series Bumblebee movie SKYWARP, another Cybertronian SKYWARP here. So you can see how the two SKYWARPs look together, and yeah, it's amazing how we got two different SKYWARPs here from Studio Series, which is pretty cool. And I know we're gonna get an 86 SKYWARP in the future. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get that, because since I already have the Earthrise SKYWARP, so we'll see what happens. If the paint job actually makes me want to get it, then I'll get it. So, but me personally, I'm probably not gonna get the 86 SKYWARP because it's gonna be the Earthrise Seeker mold again. So, but anyway, let's move on. And of course, here we have gameredition SKYWARP compared with his mold mate Starscream. As you can see how the two Seekers look together, and they look really good together. And I can't wait for the third version of this mold, which will be Thundercracker, so that we can complete the trio here. So yay! More Seekers for the collection. Awesome. So I think that's pretty much it for the ultimate comparisons right here. Alright, so now that we're done with the jet mode here, let us... actually, no, we're not done with the jet mode yet, because I totally forgot to show off that the wings can actually move up and down if you really want them to. You know, you can point them straight up like that if you want to, or flip them up like that if you really want to. Me personally, it's more accurate if you have the wings pointed down like that, you know, pointed downward. So that's just me. That's just how I display my SKYWARP and jet mode. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the jet mode. So let us transform this guy into his robot mode, and his engineering is actually pretty nicely done in my personal opinion. So first things first, you want to bring up the wings and get them out of the way like so. And you want to take this entire back section and just untab them from the legs here, so they tab in there. So just untab them just like so, and just untab it just like that, and this will rotate up just like so. And of course, you want to take this entire assembly, bring this up, and then flip this section in, and then close that up. Now take these fins right here, just rotate them around, just like so. And of course, you want to take this section and just fold it in, and that will swoop into place, just like so. And then do the same thing on the other side, just fold all this around, and that should tab in right there. And there we go. So there we have the backpack assembly all put together. So let's leave the backpack alone right now, and then we'll move on to the legs right here. Now take this panel and just untab it like so, and then bring this leg up and straighten it out, and that will click into place. And then this panel will come down, and that will now in theory it should click into place, but on my copy of the toy it doesn't really want to click into place. It just rests there, and it's not a solid locking point. But on Starscream it is, but this side doesn't want to click into place. But oh well, it is what it is. Anyway, you want to take the tail fin and just bring this back, and then flip out his toe, and there we go. There we have one leg all done. And do the same thing on your side, just untap this panel and then straighten out his leg, click into place, and then this panel will come down and click into place. Now this side actually clicks into place very nice and securely. And then take this tail fin, flip this back, flip out the toe, and there we have his legs all done. Stay tapped in, please. But it doesn't really want to. So anyway, let me raise up the camera, and yeah, let me just raise up the camera a little bit. I'll be right back. Alright, so we are at the top floor. So now what you want to do here, you want to untab his arms here from this section here. So just take this and just untab that, and split his arms, and just unfold his arms unfold his arms, and then you want to take this armature here and just bring this up just like so. Rotate his arm around and rotate this at the bicep so that everything is oriented properly, and there we go, we got arm all done. Do the same thing on the other side, just bring this up just like so, and rotate the arm around, rotate at the bicep, and there we have his arms pretty much done. So now the last step to do is to well, we're at the home stretch, not the last step. So you want to take this section here, just untab it a little bit so that you can actually bring this section down, and then you can see that these tabs, right here, they will go into slots right in here at the shoulder. So just bring this down just like that, and of course you want to open up the cockpit section here, and that will reveal his head. And you want to take his head and just bring this up on the double hinge here, and then rotate his head around and bring this head forward just like so, and then flip in the nose cone like that, and then bring this down all the way and bring his head back just like that, and then close up the cockpit, and booyah, there we have the chest done. And then you can take these pieces here and just rotate them to the sides just like so, and there we go. And then the last step to do is to tab in the backpack to these two slots right in there. So just bring the backpack up, and that will tab in right there. And I think we're done. Are we done? Yes, we're done. Woo, we're done. So there we have Gamer Edition SKYWARP fully transformed into his robot mode. And I think he looks pretty good in my personal opinion. He's missing some paint apps, but hey, overall, he still looks pretty dang good. So let me get in close here so we can take a look at the head sculpt. Now the head sculpt is actually a new face. So what they're trying to do with SKYWARP here is that they're trying to give him like a little tiny smirk and a squinted eye. A little bit weird, but hey, at least they remolded something on this figure. So in that case, it's the face. So yeah, I mean, it's a good looking face sculpt. You know, nice red paint for the eyes, gunmetal gray for the face, or silver-ish paint, I would say. And you can see a little bit of silver on his arms here, and a little bit of gunmetal gray for the crotch, you know. Now here's where the problem lies. The legs are just barely painted, and that's a bit unfortunate. He should have this black section. He should have the shin. The front of the shin should be painted black, but oh well. I guess they couldn't let the budget to do that. But anyway, yeah. I guess they wasted the paint budget on the club. You know, they painted the entire handle gunmetal gray or silver. So, yeah. My one complaint is the lack of paint on the legs, but it is what it is. Overall, he still looks pretty dang good, and it's a very clean transformation too. You know, hey, very clean transformation. I mean, he does have some hollowness, but I don't really care because you don't see it that much. But anyway, but there you go. Now, as far as articulation goes, it's pretty much the same thing with Starscream. So his head is on the ball joint, and you can actually rotate the head a full 360. He can look up. He can't really look down. The shoulders can rotate a full 360. It can move in and out. You do have a bicep swivel. You do have a double jointed elbow due to the way he transforms, which is quite nice. I do quite like that. And he does have a wrist rotation, which makes which would I think wrist swivels would make a lot of fans happy. He does have a waist rotation. Legs can move up that far, can move back that far, and he can do the full splits. He does have a thigh swivel. He does have a knee joint, slightly over 90 degrees bend. And of course, he does have some ankle tiltage right there. The toe can actually pivot downward due to transformation. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the articulation here. So he's pretty posable. He's quite posable. He has all the joints that one would want. So yeah, pretty nicely done articulation there. now let's talk about how he can use his weapons in robot mode. So for his club, you can give him the club here, just put it into his hand, just like so. Now, now on this arm here, is his joint is a little bit weak, so he can't really hold it. I mean, he can hold it up, but sometimes it's easy to rotate down like that. So it's a little bit weak, but oh well, it is what it is. But he can hold his club, although a little bit weird, but anyway. So yeah, but he can hold his club if he really wants to. And of course, he can hold his thermal rocket launcher by using this peg and just plug it into his hand like that, and there we go. And that's a little bit weird because it's not really natural. So yeah, but well, of course, like other Gamer Edition figures, except for Reactivate, like other warforcybertron figures, you can actually move the right arm and replace it with the weapon here. And how you do this is that you use that post to plug into that port right in there, and just there we go. And that's how he wields it. And that's a little bit weird because it's so odd. It's very odd. I mean, it kind of works better with I mean, I don't know. Yeah. This setup is a little bit odd here, but you know, he can just shoot some rocket launchers and, you know, just whack some Autobots with his club. You know, whatever you want to do, but it's, yeah, the way he holds his weapons is very, very weird. So me personally, I think I'm just gonna leave this off and just plug his arm back in. You just do that and then just do that. I think that looks better to me. And then what I do with the club, since it's very weak in his arm, I just store it back here. So I just use this port right here, and then just plug the club right here. So yeah. If at one point I said this was an axe, I'm sorry, it's a club. So anyway, so there you have that, and we shall bring in some size comparisons. Here is Gamer Edition SKYWARP compared with his Bumblebee movie self. So you can see how the two Cybertronian SKYWARPs look together, and you know, two SKYWARPs going for different things. You've got movie version, and then we got the Gamer Edition version. So there we go. So let's move on. And last but not least, here we have Gamer Edition SKYWARP compared with his wave mate. No, not wave mate, I'm so sorry, with his mold mate, Starscream. So you can see how the two Seekers look together. And as always, they're just different colors, and of course slightly different face sculpts. But other than that, it's the same toy, same figure, same everything. Now I will say the tolerances on Starscream are a little bit better than SKYWARP's because, you know, there's a little bit mold degradation on SKYWARP, whereas this guy, he's actually more solid. So yeah, and of course some joints on SKYWARP are a little bit weaker than Starscream. So yeah, but there you have that. So that is pretty much it for the robot mode comparisons right here. Okay, so here are my final thoughts on the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Voyager class warforcybertron SKYWARP. Did I forget to mention that you can actually store the thermal rocket launcher on his back as well? Totally forgot to mention that. Sorry. But anyway, as far as this figure goes, I mean, it's a nicely done figure. Definitely a nicely done repaint of Starscream here. I do love the black and purple color scheme. You know, the robot mode looks pretty good, and the jet mode looks very good too. Transformation is nice and smooth, so I got no complaints with the transformation whatsoever. Articulation is also pretty good for this figure, so no major complaints. My only real complaints about this figure is that the tolerances on this guy are a little bit weaker than on Starscream, and of course lack of paint on the legs, you know, that's a little bit too plain there, but oh well, it is what it is. But all in all though, I mean, he is definitely a solid figure. I do quite like him, and yeah, so and of course I'm very happy to have another Seeker in my collection, even though it's just a repaint of Starscream, but still nice solid figure, and happy to have more Gamer Edition figures in the collection. So just wish that the tolerances were a little bit better. Just some things needed to be connected a little bit tighter and you know, tap things a little bit better. And of course, the way he holds his weapons a little bit odd, a little bit on the weird side, but oh well, it is what it is. And you know, at least he can hold the rocket launcher normally. You know, at least that there's that. So at least they gave you options on how he can wield the how he can use the thermal rocket launcher. That's what I mean. But anyway, so yeah, all in all though, nicely done figure, and I do quite like him. So now, if I were to rank this guy from a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'm gonna give him a solid, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. He just needed a little bit more tweaking to make him look better and, you know, more solid, but 7.5 out of 10 I think is pretty decent for him. So alright, I think that's pretty much it for today's video review. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have enjoyed this review, be sure to smash that like button down below, give it a thumbs up, and of course, if you want to see more reviews like this, be sure to click that subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, click that notification bell icon down below as well, so that you will never miss any of my future videos. And you can always check out my Studio Series Reviews playlist for any videos I may have missed. So I will post a link to that playlist in the description down below. And I think that's pretty much it for me to say. So there you have the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition, Voyager Class, warforcybertron, SKYWARP, and this is JJ Prime signing off. Peace out to all in one, and I'll see you guys next time. Decepticons, rise up!
Greetings, Transformers fans. My name is Alita1. I would like to thank you for watching JJ Prime Reviews. If you would like to see more reviews, live unboxings, or even tutorials on the channel, hit the subscribe button and smash that bell icon to get notified when a new video is uploaded on the channel. Thank you, and see you next time. Till all are one.